Let's go ahead and kick things off. I just wanted to welcome everyone to our second stream in the Road to Success speaker series. I wanted to also thank everyone for taking the time out of their schedule to be here with us today. My name is Lucas Conyer. I'm an enablement specialist here at ShopMonkey, and I'll also be kicking off today's event. I'm a lifelong automotive enthusiast. I've just been a fan of how the industry has been growing and evolving year over year. And it's been really exciting to be part of a company and a mission to help other shop owners and business owners thrive in general in this industry. So this series has been put together with the goal of simply helping other shop owners across the industry by addressing popular topics and sharing best practices. We here at ShopMonkey really have an amazing group of customers that share the same passion in wanting to help other shop owners in the industry. And we're looking forward to presenting these topics over the rest of the course of this year. This series will bring shops from all different verticals of the industry to share their experiences and best practices. And in our last stream, we had Philip from Titan Motoring present on the road to profits with shop processes and efficiencies. And if you missed that episode, be sure to check out our YouTube page and catch up on that episode. But for today, I'm really excited to have Mike and Zach here from Mad Hatter Automotive to present the topic of going down the rabbit hole of social media. Guys, thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm going to kick it over. The floor is all yours, and really excited to get into this topic.
Awesome. Thanks, Lucas. Go ahead, Zach.
Thank you. Everybody, I'm Zach. My wife, Lynn, and I own Mad Hatter Auto Repair in Omaha, Nebraska and Council Bluffs, Iowa. We have invested highly in social media and really have used it to grow our business, and actually through rebranding and pushing out is how we have been growing lately. So in the pictures here, you see this is our family, my wife, Lynn, our two French bulldogs, and our two boys. We spend a lot of time, promoting family and stuff like that. So we do use a lot of content of ourselves, our dogs, and our lives. Again, I'll keep referring back to people buy stuff from people, not a place. Next slide. So when we met, me and Lynn is actually before we ever owned Mad Hatter Auto Repair. At that time, the day we met was actually a costume party, and my wife Lynn was actually dressed up as the Mad Hatter. Fast forward a couple of years, we ended up buying a company named Mad Hatter. So that night, she was wearing a hat. If you ever see any social media posts with our dogs, usually they're wearing the hat that she was wearing that night. Next slide. So who is Mad Hatter Auto Repair? We got two locations, one in Omaha, Nebraska, and the other in Council Bluffs, Iowa. They are about a 20-minute drive between the two. We've poured a lot into branding and logo to keep with our theme. We bought the original location in 2017. It was Mad Hatter Muffler and Brakes, which is a former franchise. And then we, in 2019, we bought our second location in Council Bluffs, Iowa, went through rebranding in 2020 in the midst of the pandemic to make a good, a hard decision even worse. But we use social media to kind of brand out and push our branding. Go ahead and hit the movie. This is a little bit of...
So a little more about Mad Hatter, who we are. We have about 15 employees. That includes technicians, advisors, location leaders, otherwise known as a store manager. We call them leaders, though. We also have an employee development director on our administrative side, whose entire goal and focus and targets are to develop, implement, track, and report on individual, specific, customized training and development plans for all of our employees across both locations. We also have our executive team, which consists of owner Zach, marketing director Lynn, and myself, chief operations officer. We have found that by having a consistent and entertaining, most importantly, presence on social media, that this helps drive the team environment and engagement. It drives interest from customers, and most importantly, it differentiates us from our competitors. So what's the roadmap for today? First, we'll explain the goals of and influences on our theory. Secondly, we'll discuss the importance of creating original content through identifying our ideal customer and target audiences. And then lastly, we'll demonstrate the return on retaining and retention. So let's start with a deeper dive on our theory. For us, social media marketing is not an end-all be-all strategy, but it is a supplement to typical marketing strategies such as flyers, mailers, Google, and the like. We use it for brand awareness and ensuring our audience is constantly exposed and therefore recognizes our colors, logos, and theme. However, social media marketing is not necessarily focusing on the actual repair process itself, more so providing entertaining content that lets the public get to know us and our employees outside of those typical business transactions. We also target a specific audience. We found it's easier to create content geared towards a specific person or group or even a niche of folks than it is to create content that's appealing to the general public. Because I think we all can understand and agree that not all of us enjoy the same events or music or books or news or the like. Lastly, we also limit our direct call to action, which is a marketing term that refers to the next step or action that me, the marketer or the business wants you, the customer, to take. Buy now, or buy now or click here to read more. But why do we limit those? Well, how many of us see the same ad across our news app, maybe our internet browser, and across maybe multiple social media platforms? Now, how many of us just scroll right past it, or even subconsciously or out loud say, you know what, I'm done doing business with that organization because they literally follow me everywhere I go? That's why we limit it, because we don't want people disengaging from us. So I'm going to toss it to Zach on what how our theory looks like in action.
So what's influenced our theories, or how we've adapted it over the last few years, have changed. We've started to create posts, and we've actually started focusing on engagement and comments versus impressions. We were using outside companies, and they always told us, how many impressions we got and how great it was, and how that was going to change everything. And what we were finding as we dug deeper was these impressions were not necessarily in our area, our target area. They were hitting people way outside our area. So we started to actually focus on engagements and also, like, say, the comments. And we've watched our distribution scores. And then, like, say, when people are commenting, we can kind of look into them and see where they're located. We found the higher engagements, more locally sourced, that those posts were going to actual people that may become our customers. The other thing is impressions can be influenced with ad dollars. And, the ad dollars were traveled. They'll push it out to whoever they have to push it to get that ad money spent. So, like, say, it may go outside of your area where, like, say, our target demographical area is a shop. You want to stay definitely within that 10 miles, but maybe you're hitting people 40, 50 miles away from you. Because of this, we brought our social media in-house. We started to handle it ourselves. As we focused on engagements, we found that, on the left there, this is a post that was made by another company that we used when we were using outside companies. The engagements were down, distribution score was down. They keep telling us they're reaching people, or they'd show us the impressions on the backside, but it is very cookie cutter, looked like other people, and really did not just engage with our clientele. Also, you can see it's a call to action. A lot of people do not like call to actions. They're not going to click on it. They're not going to follow it. They don't find it entertaining. Like, say, we go to social media for entertaining. On the right, that's a post that we threw together around Christmas time. We used our people live that day, took pictures of them, put it on posted up. Very high engagement score, very high distribution score, and everything was locally in our area. Next slide.
So we have another sampling of some of our efforts on social media marketing here. So you'll probably find it unsurprising that we did that video when the Top Gun 2 came out. And that's part of the reason what we do. When we find trends or hot things that are happening, or big movies, or a sequel to a legendary movie, in my opinion, we make a video and use our own staff and make it entertaining. Very little did we actually do or show anything about the repair process. But a larger question for the audience here, what do you notice consistent across the two posts on either side of the video and the video itself? Throughout it, you probably saw the same logo, the same colors, same theme over and over and over. Our primary focus is brand awareness. If any of you have also looked us up, we're constantly posting what our culture looks like, what it feels like, what it acts like, along with our logo, because the data says that it takes people to see the brand at least 7 times before they remember us later on when they need us. We don't use social media as a search engine for folks to find us. Rather, people don't search it when they have a time of crisis or their car breaks down. They're on there to be entertained. So let's be on there and entertain them. So later on, when they need us or they do have a crisis, their car breaks down, they remember how we made them feel before they ever even did business with us. And then they'll choose us based on that fact. Our goal is getting people to follow us for entertainment value first, so that constant brand recognition and even subliminal marketing drives them to us later on when needed. Zach, what's another influence?
So standard ads are becoming to be viewed as very intrusive. 91% of people believe that ads are intrusive compared to just 2 years ago. And 79% of people believe they're being tracked and retargeted by these ads. So, say, a lot of us don't click on ads, don't even read through them, scroll right past. I know myself, if I see an ad a lot, I actually unfollow those ads. Again, as you look, here's this shop here is actually a shop that is 422 miles away from us in 6 hours of a drive. They are running paid ads in our area. I do know it's through an outside vendor. I've actually reached out to them, and yet that has not changed. But an outside vendor's running ad money and spending money for literally someone who would have to drive 6 hours to get there. What we notice is how many of their customers actually follow, because in their stream, it is just a constant call here, call us, come to us here. People are there for entertainment. They're not going to follow you or engage with you just because we repair cars. They realize that. They're going to follow for entertainment basis. A lot of people will block ads like this. Next slide.
So that's our theory on social media marketing. Now we'll move to the second stop on our roadmap, creating original content. But first, why do we prefer to create our own content as opposed to maybe contracting with an outside vendor? Well, aside from some of the things that we previously mentioned, take a look at these two posts that we have here. What do you notice about them? If you look at it, they look pretty similar. Actually, they're almost identical, and they were made on the same day, about the same time, using the same picture. And one of them was made for us. The other one was made for one of our direct competitors that was located about 1.5 miles away. There's nothing that separates these two posts from each other. That's not a good thing. So when you do partner with an outside vendor, you run the risk of having literally identical posts on the same day between you and your competitor, giving your customer the option to choose based on whatever they feel is a good choice, as opposed to what they know and understand in the brand that they've seen in before and Trust. Before creating your own content, let's even take another step back. You got to have certain things in place first. We need to have policies and procedures in place such that we have a social media, a code of conduct, and confidentiality policies that each team member in your organization has reviewed, signed off on, already in place before you start following them and posting their image. Speaking of that, in your social media policy, you also need to have a documented agreement between the individual and the business to use their name, image, and likeness. Why do we need these policies in place? Well, number one, it controls employees posting about the business, its customers, and using its logo or general business practices on their own personal pages. But again, it permits us, the business, to use their image and their first name and reduces liability there. What are some other things that these policies need to include? An overview of where or which platform the company will be posting. You're going to have a specific requirement worded, specifically laid out for employees to use as their own disclaimer if and when they do discuss work-related items or personal beliefs on behalf of the business. Then we have another process for protecting and safeguarding company proprietary and confidential information. And that's not all to say that we don't want our employees talking about us online. We absolutely do want them. We want them sharing, commenting, liking, all of that, engaging with every post we make. But we want to make sure that the discussion and the conversation is, number one, truthful and respectful. We want our staff to add value and believe they can add value to the discussions. And we don't want any disparagement of coworkers, customers, and especially competitors. And then again, we want to also, on the other side, limit official statements on behalf of the business. Zach, what does the next step in creating original content look like, though?
So original content is, so you look, as we'll get into, is who is your customer, your avatar you're going after. So a lot of times, like, everyone may think, oh my God, there's so many different types of social media. How do I be on all of them at one time? And the truth is to really locate who you're trying to bring in as who is your target demographic and figure out what type of social media, what platform they're on, what they're using, and what they're looking for. So as you talk about creating original content or determining what platform maybe I can master, and that's the one that I'll go after first until I become good or actually have the ability to split and go to multiple platforms in a good way, or hire someone internally to start managing multiple platforms for you. So say here in the top left, 77% of people on Facebook are, female males in the ages of 30 to 49, kids. They're in their middle ages, like, say, have families and stuff like that. 53% of the people on Snapchat are 15 to 25 years old. 67% of the people on Instagram are females between 18 and 29. In TikTok, 39% of the people on TikTok are 18 to 24 years old. Next one. So you start looking into, say, LinkedIn. 60% of these people are going to be 25 to 34-year-old business-minded people. If you're running a European shop or something like this would be a great target to hit these type of people. Also great for fleet accounts, would definitely be in this area. YouTube, 15 to 25-year-olds are who is on YouTube most of the time. YouTube is a form of social media. On another spin, YouTube is actually will drive your Google My Business and AdWords and stuff like that. That's a completely different topic to start going over. But like, say, YouTube mostly is getting used for, content consumption by the 15 to 25-year-olds. And 38% of 38% is the 18 to 29. 72% of them are males. A lot of this is sports driven and politics on Twitter. But like say, if you're looking for those 18 to 29-year-old males, a lot of them are on Twitter. So that's kind of like a brief look at what platforms different people are on to kind of make your decision going forward of what platform you should start with. And I highly recommend on one first, not all at once. Next slide. So as I mentioned earlier, avatar. So as we got into social media, we started focusing on an avatar. And we did not study other actual automotive businesses, but we started looking into, hairdressers, stylists, how were people that were running smaller companies attracting large groups of followers. And what we found out from actually a hairstylist was they go after one target demographic. You'd rather have a small slice, a big part of that small slice of the pie. If we could get every 25 to 40-year-old female coming in our shop, married with or without kids, dual income household, our shops would be bulging at the seams. So what we decided was we were going to create entertaining content for women 25 to 40 years old on our Instagram, on our TikTok, and all those other social media feeds. That's who we were looking to entertain. As we started to get a good demographical hold on that type of an avatar, we bridged out to a 25 to 30-year-old technician. That brought us in, what does 20 to 35-year-old technicians want to see? I hate to tell you guys, it's not cars being torn apart. They want to see in a company, they want to see, a team environment. They want to see people having fun. They want to see who they would work with at that location. They want to see you guys going out and doing company events, going and really, showing who you are as a company. That is who these people are looking for. They know how to fix cars. They know how to find the information, how to fix cars. They're looking at your social media in form of who you are and would they fit in there. Next slide.
So you also need to be able to define and answer what content does my avatar want and what content do they not want. Well, answer that question by asking yourself another question. What content or entertainment does your avatar already consume? For us, again, our avatar consumes content related to fashion, beauty, pop culture, youth sports, popular trends, animals, dogs. For us, the content that they do not want to consume, or another way of saying it, avoid, greasy car guts, high performance equipment, offensive, vulgar content, and repetitive advertisements. We recommend consulting friends, families, and some of those loyal long-term customers to help you identify what your ideal avatar is already consuming and what content they prefer. Zach?
So original content, now that we determined everyone signed off on those policies and procedures, we've identified who our ideal target that we're going to be going after is, who's our avatar, who do we want coming in our shop, and we decided what platform we're going to go out. Now we're to the point of bridging our employees to represent our brand on social media. So this is, as everyone knows, in a shop is a tough thing. We're like, oh, my guys don't want to be on there. They make every excuse to avoid the, camera. So how do you do that? First, you initially start by celebrating certifications, wins, little things that they do around the shop, pump them, show everyone how great they are, when they pass an ASE test, when they have a birthday, when they get those wins, or when a customer has a great review that they talk about a certain employee that you have, put a picture of that person up there, tag them in it, and share that out there. And really, what happens is their families and friends will start to see this, and they'll actually start talking to them outside. Oh my God, I seen you got that award. I seen you got this big certification. And all of a sudden that person starts warming up to being celebrated outside of work, and they start warming up to the camera. Next thing is start filtering in some content. What we did to start bridging people in was Lynn would walk around the shop with a camera and be like, hey, I'm just trying to figure out what you're doing so I can, make a blog post. Do you mind if I just record as you talk about what you're doing? When that's happening, that person's getting used to that camera being rolling. And like say, you may record a ton of stuff that you never actually use, but as you don't use that, they get comfortable with it being on there, not thinking that every time you hit a button, they're going to be all over the internet. So as they get comfortable, you can start asking them to do different stuff. They'll pose, they'll have fun with you. And that's when you can really start, filtering in that entertaining content with it. So originally, like say, it is just start to bridge that gap with them of celebrating them and showing how great they are is really the first step, and slowly getting them into that, having my picture online is not a bad thing. Next slide. So original content, again, as your employees get comfortable, identify 1 to 3 employees of regular face. Again, I'll come back to this. People buy stuff from people. They do not buy stuff from a place. We're a place. I'm an owner. I'm not at the front desk. I don't engage with a lot of the employees. So like say, seeing who we are is great, but seeing our employees are better. And then keep in mind appealing content to them. So like say 25 to 40-year-old moms usually have tons of sports equipment. There's 3 times a year that, like say, I always say my wife doesn't have junk in her trunk 3 times a year in between sporting events. You know what? That little post went crazy on some mom boards. When the kids start driving, people getting female technician that we have getting a new toolbox. And then like say you take stuff locally that happens. In our area, there's something called Sleeve Watch with Bill Ramby. He's a weather guy, and how bad the storm is coming in, he'll roll up his sleeves, he'll take off his jacket, he'll take off his tie and unbutton his shirt a little bit. So as we had a tornado warning rolling into our area, we actually made a little video for it, and it actually got us tons of followers and actually bridged a relationship with a local news station that they use us for anytime they have questions about automotive, where we've actually been on the news about 4 or 5 times this last year with tons of free publicity where they're interviewing us about potholes or, slick road conditions and stuff like that. Go ahead and play the little video. So as you can see here, again, not a whole lot of the content that we're putting out here actually has to do with working on a car. There's not been a car torn apart in any of our stuff so far. So next slide here, Mike. Bridging back to keeping our avatar in mind. So there's a local diesel shop. Their target demographic is literally 20 to 45-year-old men, usually blue-collar workers, diesel trucks. The stuff they post online would literally drive every one of our followers away because that's not the content they like to consume. The content that his shop likes to consume is big turbos, heads pulled off, all that diesel stuff that his demographic is interested in. They do very well, but they have no female followers in their social media. It's all males. So like say, keep in mind your avatar to who you want to be coming in your door and who you want to have spending money with you. And that's who you need to create the entertaining content for. Next.
So aside from keeping your avatar in mind, you need to stay abreast of local trends and then hop on them quickly. We actually did this with this video here. It was quite popular for a while.
I really like corn.
What do you like about corn?
It's cold. A big long enough. It has to
So again, that was really popular on TikTok for a while, and we piggybacked on its success and made our own goofy little video, which ended up being viewed over 35,000 times. But how do you find trends though? Well, what are trends? They can be identified by repetitive songs, dances, comments, slogans, pictures, and visual effects that an increasing number of people are paying attention to, sharing, engaging, and consuming. It is essential to dedicate time to figuring out what these trends are. If you have someone in-house that can focus on that, that's extremely helpful. If you don't, or maybe let's say you're downloading TikTok or something similar for the very first time, how do you identify a trend? Where's ground zero? Well, lucky for us, there are free resources out there for you. One of them being Google Trends and TweetDeck. One word, TweetDeck. They will literally tell you what's popular and trending right now. We also recommend following people, again, like your customers, your friends, other local influencers that your avatar might also be following. On the slide here, in the middle of it, that's a local influencer in the Omaha metro area. And what they do is go around to different businesses and highlight their services or products in a positive light. We partner with them, and as a result of that, we've gotten some pretty good exposure. On the far left of the screen, you'll see the Savannah Bananas. That is a personal favorite for our executive team, strictly for the entertainment value and how they invent ways to connect with their avatar, their local community, and because of that, it organically grows from across the entire country. We presented here a couple weeks ago this presentation in Puerto Rico to about 150 people in the room. And there were 5 different people in the room who knew of the Savannah Bananas. One of them has actually been on a season ticket wait list for over a year and a half. So again, they're a great example of providing entertaining content. Last thing we have is retaining and retention. Zach?
So retaining and retention. So what we found is a lot to do with engagement with our employees and stuff like that. So we've actually quit kind of posting job ads because we have more people applying with us than openings that we have. About a year and a half ago, our last job ad we ran was kind of a jab at some local other shops around us that could never get anyone in, and actually has been stolen by a couple other marketing companies and social media companies out there, is our "we're not hiring" ad. This ad, when we posted it, kind of as a jab to build our bench or to bring people in just to have chats with them, go through our hiring process. And then we just set them on the side to say, when we have an opening, we're going to give you a call. It's been a great system for us. It works. We're able to fill back in with employees real quick. But like I say, this was the truth. When we ran this ad, we were not hiring. It shows who we are, what we offer, and that type of stuff. Like say, kind of a little funny ad, but like say, we have not, because of our social media and how we look to outside technicians, we've not had to run job ads. I think Mike can probably confirm because he does more of it. We get somewhere between 1 to 3 applications a week, and I think currently have 7+ technicians sitting on the sidelines waiting for an opening in our company currently. So what, as we got up here, E3 surveys, an E3 survey, what we notice with multiple locations is we run an engagement survey on a regular basis to see how happy our employees are with us. And with that, we found that the engagement from our employees directly showed in the E3 survey. When one shop was more engaged with our social media by making comments, sharing, and stuff like that, the E3 survey or the engagement of that location was much higher than the lower score. So we've actually found that watching the social media and engagement of our employees as far as who's sharing it, how much they're sharing it, are they making comments and talking within the chat on it, that when we notice someone, they're not posting as much, we actually can go in and kind of figure out that, oh, maybe we stopped doing something that they enjoyed, or we weren't engaging with them enough. And it's actually a good measurement of happiness of our employees. We use it for team building, like say our team interacts back and forth, like say on stuff we post on social media. I love working here. We had people that say, I want to work here. You guys have so much fun. That's what we try to show within our, culture on our social media. And that is what has been driving in the majority of our applicants. This is a closeout of our 2022 season that we posted that actually kind of got all these comments. In the middle was off of this post up here, this little video.
So get your employees involved. At the very least, get them to at least reshare if they don't comment on what you're posting. Why do that? Well, having employees share and then repost, or taking it a step further, mention and comment, and really interact and engage with each post helps whatever platform you're on, helps that algorithm push that specific post towards a wider and more local audience. Let's compare what we've got on the screen here. So each post reflects a different store, one Council Bluffs, one Omaha. If we take a look at the distribution scores on here, on the right, you'll see, although it might have been a more, a funnier post, it had significantly lower, about half the distribution score than the one on the left did. That particular store, the one on the right, also had lower engagement scores. So to Zach's point, for those, if you're having issues with an engagement, you're probably going to have issues with your social media and vice versa. They are related. Our E3 survey actually showed that that particular store did have a lower employee engagement score. And then that was reflected on the number of engagements people reached and distribution score as well. The main takeaway here is empower your employees to participate in, or at least share, a post, as it will have a direct impact. I'm kind of wrapping up with some final thoughts for you all. What are some things that you can do, starting this afternoon or tomorrow? Number one, absolutely start drafting your policies and procedures. Get those in place. Make sure they're reviewed by all your staff, answer any questions they have, and get digital sign off. There's also plenty of there's plenty of drafts publicly available. And I recommend reaching out to your insurance company. That's what we did. And they provided us an entire online resource of policies, procedures, and even job description drafts that we could customize based on what we wanted to do with it. Then engage your go-to employees first. You know who they are. Find your most outgoing person, or find those folks who know a lot about what they're doing. They're really technical skilled, and just follow them around. Ask them what they're doing. Maybe eventually, after they get kind of comfortable, as Zach said earlier, they'll be the ones that come to you with funny ideas and entertaining content. With that being said, lastly, take pictures and videos often. And most importantly, have fun. Your audience and your avatars will be able to tell if you're lying or genuinely not having fun. For us, we do it ourselves because we believe in that organic fun. And we also have a dedicated full-time staff person to do this. Lastly, outside vendors are okay in a supportive role, but it might not drive those higher engagements or interactions that you're desiring. That kind of wraps up our presentation.
I'll just jump in, guys. That's an amazing presentation. Thank you for sharing that. I was sitting here. I've seen the content too before we even jumped into this session. Having you guys present, it was just there's some eye-opening moments in there, especially just taking the time to do the research and see what's going to be impactful for where your shop is located. thank you so much. I know we're at time. I wanted to thank you both for joining in. Lynn, I know you're there behind the scenes. Thank you so much for helping out with all this amazing content. I wanted to thank the audience for those who stuck around all the way to the end. Feel free to share this with your, with your colleagues, with your coworkers, within your shops. It's amazing content, and we look forward to hosting more sessions like this throughout the year. With that being said, thank you. This was our second episode in the Road to Success series. Once again, Mike Kraus, Zach, and Lynn, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today. I hope everyone has a great week, and we look forward to having you guys hopefully back in the near future for some extra sessions.
Sounds great. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.